what exactly is the difference between RAW and log, and what is Rec. 709? But most importantly, even if we know, how can we use the knowledge to better our cinematography? It starts with a deeper understanding. Let's begin with Rec. 709. This is an HD monitor, and this is an Ultra HD monitor. This chart indicates the tones of color available for us to see, but the average human eye cannot see all the tonal colors on this chart. Neither can a TV monitor. The HD TV only has the capability to display this amount of tonal color. All the colors inside this triangle are known as Rec. 709. Cameras use this as a standard broadcast reference, as it fits the capability of the HD monitor. This is an Ultra HD monitor. It has the capability of reproducing this amount of tonal colors. This is much closer to the limit of the human eye. The colors within this triangle are known as Rec. 2020. So, if you see the same color chart on an HD monitor and an Ultra HD monitor, you will be able to see the difference. Well, not on this demonstration, because I am making this film on HD, so you will not be able to appreciate the 2020 chart. Both RAW and log differ to standard Rec. 709 and 2020. Recs are designed to capture the image in the best way to be reproduced by an equivalent monitor. RAW and log are designed to capture the most information possible. This is useful when color grading, as RAW and log will have much more latitude to manipulate the image. Take this shot from a Philippine tourism commercial. This is a very contrasting scenario, with bright skies and dark shadows on the ground. But this shot appears to be quite balanced. Let's look at the 709. As you can see, to keep the slightest amount of color in the sky, I had to keep my exposure quite dark. The cobbled street is in deep shadow. Now let's look at the RAW. This image looks flat and boring, but it has much more information in it. The ratio between the highlight and the shadow area is much smaller, so during the grade I can manipulate this quite easily, because the image has a very wide latitude. I could not get this image if I tried to grade the 709, because it is not designed to have much latitude. It is designed to look good as a video signal on an HD monitor. So RAW and log are not useful if you are not going to grade your materials. But if you are, RAW and log will give you much more latitude. Although RAW and log are both designed to capture the maximum amount of image data and latitude, regardless of how washed out, flat and ugly the image looks, they are different. RAW is recorded directly from the sensor. It is a numeric data file. The sensor is covered with a color matrix made up of tiny pixels. A simple way to understand it is to think of colored filters laid over the sensor that is receiving the light. Blue light can only pass through the blue filter. Green light can only pass through the green filter, and red light can only pass through the red filter. Thus, the sensor underneath is only activated when the matching colored light hits it. This information is stored as numeric data, a number for each color and lux of each color. This code is stored unaltered as numbers. That is a raw file. When you grade this, there is very little loss of information, as the grading software will decode the numeric file directly into video for you to watch as you manipulate the numeric code. Log is not a numeric file. It is converted in the camera to a video file with the same image properties as RAW. They look the same, but there is information lost when converting to video. So why use log files if they have the same function as RAW, but lose information? Well, RAW files are very large and very difficult to manage. Wrangling and conversion times are much longer, and you will need considerably more storage than capturing log. RAW files also need more wrangling. They can only be monitored through the camera or on a computer loaded with a compatible software that can convert the numeric file to video. This is the Red Cine, used to monitor Red RAW files. Red Cine can also manipulate the image file by changing values or adding LUTs and gamuts. This is useful on high-budget commercial TV or movie shoots, as cinematographers can plan the look they want and attach a LUT for the colorist to start from. Both log and RAW are designed to capture the maximum amount of image data, to be unlocked during color grading. Both RAW and log use the same techniques. To readily understand them, you need to know how to read the waveform monitor. This is a waveform monitor, and this is the IRE scale. 100 IRE is at the top of the scale. This represents white, and 0 IRE is at the bottom of the scale. This represents black. If we shoot a graduated image from true black to true white, with the camera set at standard Rec 709, the waveform will look like this. This is the white at 100 IRE and this the black at 0. And this slope is the value of the gradient. If we use a stepped grayscale, the waveform looks like this. We can see each IRE value of each gray tone. But if you expose over 100 IRE, the image will clip. This is because video signal has parameters. There is no tonal information past 100% IRE and no tonal information below 0 IRE. So to help cinematographers from overexposing, camera manufacturers put a safety curve to stop the whites hitting 100 IRE and the blacks going below 0. This is a Kodak Grey Card Plus. Cinematographers shoot this or a chart like this for every camera setup, so the colorist has a reference to set up the grade. Notice the largest chip is 18% grey, or mid-grey. This is a chip chart with a grayscale and a background of 18% grey. This card is used to assess the tonal setup of your camera. This is what a 709 image of the chart looks like. It is a balanced X shape, as the grey tones are all captured with equal separation. What do camera manufacturers do to this tonal setting to give it more latitude? Most importantly, they minimize overexposure to maintain detail in the high whites, or the upper part of the X, known as the knee. This is curved down away from 100% IRE. To capture more detail in the blacks, the bottom half of the X, which is known as the black gamma, is curved up away from 0. To give the colorist plenty of headroom to expand the contrast, the mid-grays are occasionally lowered. This results in what looks like a very dull image, but it can be expanded again in grading. When you understand the concept behind log and raw, you will be able to pick the curve that fits your style or scene best. Every camera manufacturer has a slightly different set of curves. When you have had some practice studying how log and raw curves affect your image, you can set up your own curves. Most pro and prosumer cameras allow you to set up curves by accessing the menu. This is the menu of the Sony F5. You can see there are plenty of options for each part of the curve. I recommend you test setting up on a grey chip card and monitor the waveform carefully, as you will have no standard reference to the alterations you have made if you don't. Take this high contrast scenario as an example. The highlight in the sky is at approximately f16. The subject exposure is as low as f4. That's an acceptable exposure ratio. However, to keep and penetrate the color in the sky, which is what I want for this shot, as it is supposed to look like a warm sunrise, I will limit my exposure to f5.6. That leaves the dark areas crushing on 0 IRE, so there will be no detail or separation in the shadows at this exposure. By applying a curve to my knee, I can reduce the separation of the whites. This drop in the upper range of the IRE allows me to open up my exposure without clipping. This line on the waveform is the sky. The higher it is on the IRE scale, the closer it will be to white. So I want it around 50 IRE to make it look like an early morning blue. To put back detail into the blacks, I am going to apply a curve to my black gamma. This makes the image look very low contrast, but also saves all the detail in the shadow areas. The ratio between the sky and the subjects is now quite narrow, resulting in a very wide latitude. I can now expand my curves in grading, choosing how much detail I want to save, as there is plenty of it in both my knee and black gamma. Standard Rec 709 does not have the range to maintain that amount of tonal detail, but if you are not going to grade, you won't want your final deliverables to look like this, so when not grading, it is better to use 709. I hope this information will be useful to you.